Welcome back to the Personal Foul Podcast. This is your host, Colton Gesser. Alongside me is my co-host, Phil. How the heck are you?
I'm a little sad. I was in Maui last week. I'm back in this armpit of America known as New Jersey. So a little sad. I'd rather be in Maui drinking my rum runners and cocktails and all that other good stuff, eating fresh fish. But I'm back here eating pizza and drinking beer.
We sure are welcoming back to the shit state in New Jersey. Welcome back, and it welcomes you back with open arms. Sadly, because
yes,
I don't know who else. I don't know who else would welcome you back into this.
My fans, obviously, they're a little miffed at you for starting late again tonight.
Well, when dinner calls, you do what you got to do, especially if it means going out for dinner. Sorry, Phil.
Or you want to rush to get the early bird blue plate special?
You got it, man. This is what happens. This is what happens when you're me, Phil. That's what happens. So we're back again. I did indeed enjoy my dinner. We went to Xena, if you know where Xena is, up by on 37, right before the bridge.
Yes,
that's where we went to dinner tonight. So it was nice.
That's a nice time. Thankfully, it was for your beautiful fiancée, Christina. The nice birthday dinner.
Hey, what are you, French? What are you, French, Phil?
French. Go eat a French fry.
Your head's a French fry. Jeez Louise.
I got a beautiful head. Look at my pretty face. New Jersey missed my pretty face. That's right. You missed the genius. I'm back.
So speaking of the genius, you suck. You're not the genius. 1 and 2 on picks this week. We'll get to that a little bit later. So I'm just sharing it onto our socials because I did post today that we were doing it tomorrow. Liar, liar, pants on fire. Here we are, and we're live. So
indeed, I have kids to coach tomorrow. I have a title to win for little kids basketball.
Speaking of, finally, it's like your first time. Your son coming in on the show. Wow,
my son.
About time. How you doing,
nice
JoJo?
Boy.
How you doing, JoJo? It's a shame that you aren't in my fantasy league, so you and your father can ring up 10th and 9th place again per usual. So, hello, JoJo.
I won last week, so go to hell. Ha ha ha. I'm 2-1.
And we have Ray right on time. Phil makes it does. I will give Phil his credit. I was shocked that he decided to do a show from Hawaii. I would have told this thing to kick rocks. I'm going to have a few more beverages down on the beach. But, again, I'll give Phil his credit. And I gave him his flowers last week. I was impressed that Phil decided to do the show last week. So
because I care about my fans, my people.
Yeah. Oh, JoJo says he watches every episode. Well, JoJo, you can kiss my ass for not doing fantasy basketball, for filling up 10th and 9th place with your father. So, again, let's get right into the action. We had a great Thursday night game. You're the worst commissioner. You just suck at drafting.
Guess again. Fraudulent commissioner.
Fraudulent commissioner. It's a shame you both can't draft for shit. So that's the problem. Anyway, let's continue on here with a look around the NFL. Start things off. Thursday night, we're going to have back-to-back weeks of finally good Thursday night games as it went off with the Ravens and Bengals in an absolute shootout on Thursday Night Football. 35-34 final. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase put on an absolute clinic and still lost. Bengals have a big problem. They cannot stop anyone defensively, especially the Ravens. Your thoughts on the Thursday night game that we started off this week 10 with?
It was a hell of a game. Me and the fabulous Kenny Warren, who, by the way, gave us our highest ratings last week. Thank you very much, Kenny. We're sitting at the outside bar at 3 p.m. watching the game. It was cool. It was different, seeing the East Coast in pitch black, and here we are in this beautiful sunshine, wearing shorts, sipping on my ties, having a good time watching football. It's a unique experience. I highly recommend it to everybody. But it was a hell of a game. Of course, I had to go against Jamar Chase in 3 leagues this week. As you saw, I still barely lost, which is a joke. I can't believe that league. Highest points against me. The Bengals defense is atrocious. They need to really plug some holes on that team. I don't know what the hell's going on with that defense. I mean, terrible. Every week they're just shooting themselves in the foot. They get a big lead, and then they blow it. I can't figure out for the life of me why that defense is so bad, because there is talent there.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Bengals going down the tubes. You know what else is going down the tubes? America's team, Dallas, gets absolutely wiped by the Philadelphia Eagles, 34-6. Yeah, Dallas is going down the tubes. Jerry Jones needs to stop running the team. Otherwise, this is going to be the result every single season until he decides to step away.
I mean, Dallas stunk before Dak got hurt, so we got to be a little fair. They're like Miami now without Tua. They're unwatchable, unfortunately. I mean, whoever's got Lamb in fantasy football leagues, like you, Tyler Granado, you're pretty much done. They're unwatchable. They're going to be unwatchable for a long time. I mean, when you got Trey Lance in there playing, I mean, my God. And by the way, ESPN and Fox Sports and all you guys, I mean, there is so much emphasis on Dak and the Cowboys. It's like that's all these sports shows can talk about. I normally don't watch them because I'm working. I'm a hardworking man. So, I'm out there in Maui, relaxing, enjoying a nice cocktail in the beach with the sunshine. See the theme I'm going here with this? And all they're talking about is the Dallas Cowboys. I'm like, why? They stink. I don't want to hear about Dallas anymore. Talk about some up-and-coming teams. Talk about Baltimore. Talk about the Falcons. They never mention any word on the Falcons or Bijan Robinson. It's always Dallas, Dallas, Dallas. I don't care about Micah Parsons' podcast. I don't care what the hell he said about McCarthy. Who cares? I'm tired of Dallas. Enough of them already. They're trash. Sorry, Tim Hershak, but they're done. Yeah, exactly, Ian. F. Joe Sliso, indeed.
Oh, wow, you said it right this time. You should say Ian, usually, for some odd reason. You can never say Ian's name.
Ian right. Eagle.
It's a shame you can never say Ian's name right. But
you can't be on time, damn it.
Hey, man. Life happens, Phil. I don't know what to tell you. Anyway, speaking of life and down the tubes, woof, Jets pack it in, folks. Absolutely railroaded in Arizona.
Wave the flag. So even got the green paper. They stink.
31-6. Oh, God, the Jets suck.
They're awful.
I also tip my cap to the Cardinals. I cannot pick against them anymore. I've continued to pick against the Cardinals in picks in our podcast that we do tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Check us out, Football Podcast. Again, I always pick against the Cardinals. I got to start picking the Cardinals because I don't know what the fuck the Cardinals are. Some odd reason they keep winning games, and they absolutely blew out the New York Jets this weekend.
Oh, the Jets stink. I've said that from day one. I said they're going to be an overrated team. The genius said that. Miami should have beat them, but McDaniel decided to stop coaching in the fourth quarter. It's the only reason why Arizona won that game. They dominated the Jets. Rodgers is done, people. Get this through your thick head, you Jet fans. They're done. Aaron Rodgers is done. It is time to look for a quarterback. I wouldn't even want him on Miami. That's how bad Aaron Rodgers is right now. I'm sure Dallas would take him. They need a quarterback, but he can't move around like he used to. Everyone forgets he was hurt that last year in Green Bay, and we didn't see him last year because he tore his Achilles. He's not as mobile as he used to be. He can't push off that back leg, and it shows. The Jets are in trouble. You can get Jefferson on that team. It won't matter right now.
Yeah, they're dump. Speaking of dumps, we're not even going to talk about the Germany game. Carolina beats the Giants in overtime, 20-17. Whoop-de-damn-do. Both teams suck. Vikings are coming down to earth. I know I kind of called it earlier that I don't think they're that good. They almost lose to Mac Jones and the Jaguars. 12-7. Sam Darnold with 3 picks. Looks like Mr. Ghostman is coming back down to earth because, boy, he doesn't look good.
He had a rough game, without a doubt. Terrible game. He's still better than what half the quarterbacks in the league right now. I mean, it helps. He's got great wide receivers, great running back, great offensive line. Yeah, he'll be fine. You're allowed bad games when you're Sam Darnold. You can't go out there and play like Joe Montana all the time. Yes, correct, Dave Gesser. Jets rehab. Indeed. The Jets are horrible. So are the Giants, by the way. I know you blew up the Giants real quick, but you may not see Daniel Jones play again. That contract kicks in for next year, and they got to pay that $25 million. I think the Giants want to tank. I think they have the number 1 pick right now, if I'm not mistaken. And they tank, they get the number 1 pick. You could see Cam Ward as a Giant, which would be a big.
Jacksonville currently has the number 1 pick. So either way,
they're not going to take a quarterback.
Clearly not. They're trading it probably.
They could. They
should. Yeah, you're right. I shouldn't have brushed off the crappy Giants to talk about that. Because that is true. I know that's kind of been the talk. Dayball's been shutting it down that they're going to continue to start Daniel Jones. This week it was kind of we're going to look. No, that is, if he gets hurt, we owe him $25 million for next year. So they're not playing him. There's no way the Giants are going to play Daniel Jones because, everyone knows they're going to opt out of that and not pick up his option, and they're going to let him walk. Otherwise, they're very delusional. But, yes, that was a shame on me for brushing off that piece of information on the New York Giants. Shame. But, wouldn't you forget? It is the Giants. Let's be real.
Yeah.
It is the Giants. You mentioned the line
played better. Yeah, Bryce Young's played a little better lately. Granted,
he's getting there. He's getting there. A lot of young receivers. We'll see if it continues after the bye. But
that'll help them.
You mentioned the Falcons earlier. I don't know what they are either. There's probably 3 or 4 teams in the NFL that I can't wrap my finger around on what they are, and that would be Arizona, Atlanta Falcons are another one. They lose to a beat-up New Orleans Saints team, 20-17. I got at the division game, so you can throw records out. Usually wins division games, but
division game on the road,
rivalry game. What the hell is Atlanta doing here? This is multiple weeks I've seen Atlanta. I'm like, what are the Falcons? I thought they were going to run away with this division, and I've seen more fight out of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with no receivers than I am with Kirk Cousins and the Atlanta Falcons. I don't understand it.
You could throw Tampa in there too, because there's a couple of games where they should have won. They should have beat the Niners last week. That's terrible. You got to somehow get that ball in the end zone. You can't play for a field goal there. The what?
That was this week.
Last week. This week. This week coming up is this week. Last week was last week.
All right. Well, the way you say last week, I'm thinking you're talking about the week before because they were in a close game for the week before.
I forgot. I got to be literal at you. What time to start the show? 6:30. Damn it, 6:30. Tonight.
Last time I checked, you apologized on the phone not too long ago that you weren't clear. So
I have no idea what the hell you're talking about.
Continue on at Atlanta, please.
Atlanta, there's going to be growing pains. I don't understand why they're not feeding Bijan and Algier more. They should be running the ball more than what they should be. I know Cousins likes to throw the ball around. They don't have the best receivers in the world. They got Pitts. They got London. Ray McLeod. I got to talk about this guy. He's been a bum for years. All of a sudden, he's good. It's because Cousins wants to throw the ball. That's not their identity. Their identity is to be punishing people. They got 2 big bruising backs, and they're not using them properly. So I blame that on the coaching.
Yeah, I don't get it. And again, if you're not already, make sure you follow us on the ticker below. Follow us on Facebook at Personal Foul Podcast, and make sure you subscribe to our YouTube at Personal Foul Pod. So make sure you're checking this out.
Yes.
Make sure you're following and subscribing. We appreciate it. We have Tyler in here saying, would you have traded, talking about you, I guess you're delusional in fantasy football, that you're willing to trade a first-round pick in a 12-team dynasty for either DeAndre Hopkins or Amari Cooper? Because Phil sure thought they were worth that. Sounds like you're drunk, Phil.
Hey, good wide receivers are a premium. He wants to win? No, he wants to be like Aaron Boone and worry about some pick in 2028 because that's his mentality. That's why he's a loser. That's why he never wins. He's just like Aaron Boone. 2 worthless bums. You suck, Tyler Granado. That's right. But I don't want to talk about him. Let's talk about the NFL.
Well, another team that's very confusing would be the Kansas City Chiefs. They find another way to win.
They're 9-0. They're going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, this team reminds me of Pittsburgh. This reminds me of the Steelers when they were 11-0. 2021? I'm trying to remember, or 2020. 2020 Steelers when they were 11-0, and everyone knew they were fraudulent. They were falling apart. That's what this Chiefs team is. This Chiefs team's this. They're skating by week after week.
They're winning. And that's the most important
thing. You could say the same. I could tell you I didn't hear the same thing when the Steelers were winning those games. I heard, it's going to come crumbling down. How is this not coming crumbling down?
Because you have a back-to-back Super Bowl winning quarterback and a back-to-back Super Bowl winning coach. They have the drive to win. Plus, they're getting all the Brady calls, which helps. And let's be fair. They get every damn call in the book ever since Brady's been gone. They get every call. Now, hey, look, they had the will to win. They blocked that field goal on Sunday. You got to tip your hat to them. They were like, no, we're not going to lose. I wish the Yankees had some of that drive during the World Series. But no,
Stop
they
talking about the
refuse to
Yankees.
lose.
Tired of talking about the Yankees. Stop it.
I just used an example. I don't want to talk about that garbage this week. I just want to talk about drive and having that oomph, the will to win, like I do, because I'm a champion. You always want to go out and win, and that's what the Chiefs are doing right now.
What are you jigsaw now? You having the will to win?
Hey, look, you're talking to a multiple-time champion over here, okay? Multiple time. Rick Sognas, another bum like Tyler Granado.
Oh God, you guys are so
But
gross.
as for the Chiefs, look, they're going to lose a couple games. They're going to probably lose this week in Buffalo. They're due, but they're still going to get the number 1 seed. They're still going to roll through the playoffs. Baltimore and Buffalo are going to beat the snot out of each other in that divisional game. And the winner of that game has to go to Kansas City. And they're going to lose a heartbreaker because that's what the Chiefs do to teams. And it'll be Detroit and Kansas City. I mean, you talk about what is this team? What is that team? What are the Dolphins? What are the Steelers? It doesn't matter. It's about Detroit and Kansas City this year. You can take all the other teams and, put it down the toilet. There are 2 teams in the NFL to talk about. And what a win by Detroit. I mean, holy hell. 5 interceptions and they come back and win that game? What a disgrace Houston is. How do you lose that game at home? How do you stop giving the ball to Mixon? Mixon was running up and down on them. They had a nice game plan in the first half. And then they just went to hell. That made absolutely no sense. You got to tip your hat off to Detroit. Another team, the will to win. These are 2 teams that want to win. And that's what you're going to see going out the rest of the year. And that's why these 2 teams are going to be in the Super Bowl. The Eagles may give the Lions a scare. But other than that, I don't see, pretty much those 2 going right through.
So, yes, the Detroit Lions win 26-23 in an absolute pick fest, and it had to be probably the most interceptions in a game of all time, I would have to say. I think there were 7 total interceptions. Crazy number, and somehow Detroit wins with Goff throwing 5 of those. Yeah, they're a good team, and again, the Texans are desperately missing Nico Collins, who's right around the corner, sounds like, so for the Texans.
They're missing him. They are also missing Diggs as well. They're missing that possession receiver.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They're missing a number 2 to go along with Tank Dell. Like, they need a legitimate number
Right.
1. Tank Dell is a nice piece off those guys, and right now it's just a Tank Dell show and a bunch of other random-ass receivers.
And you're starting to see that C.J. Stroud isn't what he's been cracked up to be. He's not winning these big games like he should be.
We'll find out when he gets Nico Collins back. Again, he's crazy.
He should win. He should have won that game.
I hear you. He should be able to win a game with Goff throwing 5 picks. I agree.
Exactly.
But
he threw a couple brutal picks himself.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I'm just saying it's looking like he needs Nico Collins to get himself up and running. He needs a legit number 1 to get him off and running. Safety.
Josh Allen's winning without a number 1 receiver, and he just lost Kincaid. God knows what the hell Buffalo is going to be like. They're 8-2. They got a bunch of bums at wide receiver, but Allen's got that will to win.
I think we're going to rename this episode "The Will to Win," starring Phil Sitta.
Indeed, like me. Indeed, like the genius.
I think that's what we're doing. And you mentioned the Buffalo Bills. They win 30-20. And again, for the Colts, I told you this. We ended up making a trade in our auction league. Congrats to you. I gave you Brock Purdy. Worked out well for you. And Bucky Irving worked out well for me this week, so appreciate that.
Unfortunately, I went against Jamar Chase, so it went to hell. I lost my 8 points.
At least someone won, and knocked off the undefeated number 1 team in the league.
Yeah, you did.
First loss.
Screw Dave Sloan.
Thank you. Again, we all talk crap about the new guy coming in the league, and look who's right at the tippy top of the league. Who would have thought? And I'm above Phil.
You're like the 21 Steelers. You'll fall in the first round.
Oh, I'm ahead of Phil. It's freaking great.
Anyway, I have the most points in the league, and I'm not in the playoffs. What a disgrace.
You just suck. That's why. Anyway, speaking of sucking, that'd be in the Indianapolis Colts. And I mentioned the auction league because I was offered Joe Flacco, and I was like, hell no, I don't trust what that situation is going to be in Indy. I know they said they're starting Joe Flacco this week again. There's no way they're not going back to Anthony Richardson. There's 0.0 way. Otherwise, Shane Steichen, I think Shane Steichen's the head coach of the Colts. I was confused him and what's his name in Arizona? I believe Shane Steichen's the head coach of the Colts.
Yeah.
There's no way in hell he is coming back with Joe Flacco if they lose again this week. There's 0.0.
They're angry at him. I mean, I was listening to the these talk shows this past week. Apparently, you're not supposed to tap yourself out of a game. There was a lot of angry NFL players over this. I'm sure his teammates are probably pissed off as well.
I agree. I don't disagree. It was a moment like, yeah, that cannot happen. That's where you sit him down for a few weeks, send a message like, bro, you can't do that. But this is, again, like I mentioned a few weeks back when they made the decision to bench Anthony Richardson. I told you, I'm like, this is stupid. This is a guy that didn't play at all his rookie season because he got hurt with a shoulder injury and never saw him again. This is a problem. You invested highly in a kid who didn't play a lot at Florida. You drafted him pretty much off the combine numbers and specs. Yeah. And again, this is a season you're not seeing him. He's already missed games this season without the benching. Already missed 2 games. Like, what do any left the Steelers game? He played the first 2 drives, and that was it. And then you never saw him again. Like, I don't know what the hell the Colts
have this week.
What's that? Who does Indy have?
Who's Indy playing? Yeah.
The Colts have the Jets.
Oh, geez, that's a tough game.
It's all right. Doesn't get easier. They go to Detroit after that. So.
Oh, do you really want to bring Richardson back for those 2 games?
You have to play him.
I'd sit him. I would not play him in those 2 games. I would leave him on the bench, let him learn a little more, and then bring him back because he's going to get smacked, especially by Detroit. He's going to get smacked around.
Well, he's got to play football, Phil. This isn't college, and if the Colts are down in the tubes, he's got to play.
I get it.
This is a kid that has to play.
Look, the Colts aren't going anywhere anyway. Why give him 2 weeks? Why put him back out in pressure situations when you don't need to?
That's what it might be. I don't know. The Colts suck. I thought that whole decision was a crap show. I don't get it. Another weird situation. This is a shame on the damn Bears. How the hell is Matt Eberflus coming back and coaching this rookie and this team? That team sucked last year with Fields. Now you bring all the pieces in. It's like, oh, this team should be interesting. And again, you fall into the trap of picking the Bears or possibly sneak in. This team sucks. Their coach sucks. And Caleb Williams, he needs to sit on the bench because they're just rotting this freaking kid. They get waxed by the freaking Patriots, 19-3. I got to tell you, the Bears have a big problem. And how you have ties to Harbaugh already. He played for the Bears. How the hell do you not throw your hat in the ring? And like, you got the pickings of your quarterback, whatever you want. You got cap money to spend. Build your team. You don't, and you're telling me you wouldn't like to stay up in the Northwest up there, and instead you let him go to LA with the Chargers. Shame on the Bears when I've been trying to give a shot on trying to get Harbaugh. Said you keep Matt Eberflus, who everyone knows sucks. And it's one of those, oh, you know you're going to fire him at the end of next year. What are you doing? Bears, shame on you. Holy cow, this team sucks.
The Bears have been inept for 30 years. You have a lump of teams that no matter what they do wrong. You have the Bears. You have the Giants the past 15 years. The Jets for the past 30 years. The Dolphins for the past 30 years. The Cardinals for the past 30 years. I mean, you have all these bad teams that stay bad no matter what you try to do to, infuse them or whatever. The Chargers, they're always getting knocked off in the first round of the playoffs. Bad teams stay continually bad because their owners are terrible and they make wrong decisions. I mean, just look at Miami. Why is Chris Greer still a GM? The guy hasn't had a good draft in 15 years. You have to start moving these GMs out. You got to find more John Lynch's. You got to find more, who's a good GM?
Omar Khan's a good GM, baby. Omar Khan's
he is. Baby. As much as it pains me to say. Bad teams just stay historically bad, and that's just how it is. And the Bears are one of them. You got to remember, the Bears passed on Mahomes and took Trubisky, that bum. I mean,
yeah, but again, I was listening to the Barstool podcast. Big Cat, Dan Katz is a big Bears fan, and he was saying, and they were talking about that today, that they passed on Mahomes, and they're like, if Mahomes got drafted by the Bears, he would be out of the league already. He wouldn't be what he is.
Well, maybe because Andy Reid has done a lot to help him.
Well, and he also sat behind Alex Smith. It's one of those things. Before the last few weeks of what we've seen Sam Darnold, you say the same thing. He gets drafted to the Jets, and now he went and sat in San Francisco for a year, and now he's with Kevin O'Connell is a good play caller out there in Minnesota, and he looks good, decent.
Ian Engel, there's no way in hell I'm putting Howie Roseman in there. This guy drafted that bum
Jalen Reagor. Go ahead, Jalen Reagor.
over Jefferson. I will never put Roseman in there as a top GM. That was one of the worst fails of all time. You got Justin Jefferson sitting there in your lap. No, I'll take Jalen Reagor instead. Oh, my God, what a bum. And yes, Saquon should be in the MVP talk.
I'll always remember that video. I always remember that video of the Vikings draft room. That was during COVID, so they're all in like Zoom. They all looked at each other like, "Oh my God, they passed on Jefferson. Sign it in, send it in."
Beside himself.
Send it in. Oh gosh,
he was angry.
We mentioned the Buccaneers. They did lose a tight game with the 49ers, 23-20. McCaffrey back. He's only going to get better every single week. So the Niners in the win column as they continue to chase the NFC West. We'll get to some of the other games here. And that would be the apology letter. And I'm just going to stick my feet up here and wait for the apology from Phil Seta. The Steelers go into the nation's capital and take care of the Commanders 28-27. Russell Wilson to Mike Williams. By the way, you Jets fans, on the red line. I am indeed sussy for Russie, baby.
To my Jet fans, if that was Mike Williams in a Jet uniform, he would have dropped the damn ball. Guaranteed he wouldn't have caught that ball. But he's a Steeler, so he caught the ball. And that's the only reason why you got that over on me. I got backdoor covered on that as well. But no, I got to tip my hat off to the Steelers. Now they've played incredibly well. I mean, they've played well with Fields. They made the switch over to Wilson, and they've gotten better. And they're starting to, run away. Now, is Harris out this week, or is he playing? I know he got dinged up.
He should be all right. No, he went back into the game. He went back into the game because Jalen Warren fumbled the ball. So yeah.
That's right. Yes, but they've done a hell of a job. That offensive line's played well. Highsmith's out though, right?
Yeah, he's out 2 to 3 weeks. Yep.
Yeah, he got hurt because I picked him up in the league and he did nothing for me. A bum. Figures. That's for you, Chad. Bum, Highsmith. But I just got to tip my hat to them. They've played incredibly well, and believe it or not, they're going to be one of the geniuses picks this week.
Wow!
I'm going to jinx them, or I'm going to be a genius.
I think he's going for the jinx, and the final game before we get into Beat the Genius, and that would be again another game. That'd be the Los Angeles Chargers taking care of the Tennessee Titans, but will let us back in the saddle, 27-17. Chargers are on Sunday Night Football. Oh, we didn't mention. Excuse me. Fins up. Dolphins back in business. Get a win Monday Night Football before we head. Skipping, you want to pass along on to Beat the Genius?
Oh, of course I picked Miami because that's the kind of game they win when nobody thinks they're going to win. Did I not say that last week?
I picked the Dolphins to win. I thought the Dolphins were going to be right back in the thick of things. I mean, the AFC playoffs suck.
They're 3-6.
You play the Raiders. You play the Raiders next week. You're one game out, and the Raiders are next week. Another week for Tua to get a speed under himself. They're right back in it.
Yeah, they're a bubble team at 3-6. You got the Colts. The Colts are 4-6. Denver is 5-5 in the 7th seed right now. How bad is that?
Correct. My point. The AFC sucks. They're right back in the swing of things.
Colts are 4-6. Cincinnati's 4-6. Miami's 3-6. And the Jets and the Patriots are 3-7.
That's what I'm saying. You have the Raiders this week. You have the Patriots the following week. Then you got the Packers.
Sure, that's going to lose. The Packers are going to crush us. It's in Green Bay. No chance.
So negative.
Oh, come on. You think the Dolphins are going to go in there and play well in Green Bay? It's going to be a cold, nasty day. They got no chance of that game.
Again, I was impressed the way they played against the Buffalo Bills. I jumped on it.
But they still lost.
Again, this
not that drive to win like I do.
Again, a 61-yard field goal. That's a kick in the nuts. So
everyone's making 60-yard field goals now. That's the norm. Play better.
I don't know if that's the norm. Tyler Bassett's been missing everything this season, and all of a sudden misses an extra point in that game and somehow finds himself nailing a 61-yarder. Again, I could just call that crap luck. So sorry to tell you, Phil. I know the Dolphins are laughable for you, but again,
I can't get excited over it. When you lose to the Colts and the Cardinals the way they did, when they should have won both those games, I'd be a little more excited. I'd have been a little more excited winning those games and barely losing to Buffalo and then coming back with a rambling. But no, when you lose two games that you should have absolutely housed, and I don't care who the hell's a quarterback, You're supposed to win those games. And yes, us, Tim McKeever. And thank you for watching, Tim, out of your busy schedule. Go play with yourself.
Yeah, you're nuts for that. Anyway, now on to Beat the Genius. Our records are in, and we do have a change in the tide. And that'd be one. Phil is now tied with me at 12 and 15. Kenny went 0 for 3 on picks this week. So, Kenny, don't go back to Hawaii. Bad taste for you live on the show. Guess what? We have standards on this show when you come on. So you better not blunder. And you blundered. 0 and 3.
By the way, it's in the link. There is a wonderful video that Kenny made. It might be our new theme song. Click the link here in the comments section. You can watch it afterwards. It's a great song.
Gosh,
might be our new theme song.
Again, Phil goes down, or Kenny goes to 0 and 3 on picks this week on his guest appearance live from Hawaii. He is now 6 and 9. I'm 12 and 15. So is Phil, and Ray loses a little bit of his lead, and it goes to 14 and 13 for Mr. Ray. So again, Phil, the floor is yours.
All right. Well, like I said earlier, I'm taking Schittsburg. I have 3.5. What do you have?
I have 3.
3? I'm still taking the 3. I can't believe they're favored at home. That's unfathomable. There's no way they should be.
You mean dogs at home?
The what?
You mean dogs at home?
Yeah, they're home dogs. Yeah, they're
you're saying
they're home dogs. They're +3. They're
Correct.
+3. Baltimore barely won. You talk about earlier. You don't know what team is what. Baltimore. We don't know what the hell they are. Supposed to have this great defense, and they're getting scored upon like it's nothing. I'm also taking the Texans at Dallas. The Texans are very angry after that loss. I have -7. Is that what you have?
I got -7.5.
7.5. I'll take it. They're going to win by at least 10. The vultures are circling over Arlington right now. McCarthy's getting picked apart. Belichick probably will be the head coach there next year. With what's his name coming back, Nico Collins, I think they're going to waltz all over Dallas. And then the last one, I know I got backdoored on them last week. I got them at 3.5, but I lost. I'm still taking Detroit. They're going to win by 21 over Jacksonville. That's going to be an ass beating at home. Absolute ass. Is Mac Jones quarterbacking again still, or are we getting trouble?
I am not sure if he is or not. So you're taking Detroit -13. Are you taking Detroit -13, you said?
-13. Boy, why do I always get gypped on the other end? That's fine. -13. I'll take it.
Ooh, what am I going to take? I'm going to take the Miami Dolphins -7.5 against the Raiders. This is one of those games, the old typical Dolphins fashion. They're going to absolutely railroad the Raiders and beat the brakes off of them.
I see you, Dave. Yeah, it's on my notes here. We're going to talk about it. And yes, JoJo, we're going to talk a little basketball. What the hell, Dave?
I knew he was going to drop it in. I didn't know if he was still watching. That's amazing. I know he's watching the Devils now. I'm going to be tuning in.
Of course he's watching. He's a fan of mine.
I'm going to be tuning in after the show here. I'm going to take the Buffalo Bills -2.5. I can't believe I'm doing it.
Wow.
Yeah, I can't believe I'm doing it. I think this is Kansas City's game to lose. And I'm also taking the Cincinnati Bungholes plus 1.5. I don't love the Chargers at all. This team's magically gone themselves into 6 and 3. I still can't believe they're 6 and 3.
I know.
I'm going to take the Bengals. I think they're going to put up more points than the Chargers can, and that is that. I think Joe Burrow. What's that?
Back. Bosa's back. They have a decent D.
Oh, I know. It's going to be a good game. I just think that they're going to put up way too many points compared to the Chargers. So
thank you, Ian.
Ian, that's a shame. Shame on you.
Shame.
Shame on you.
We both hate Joe Slicer.
So our picks are in. I got the Dolphins -7.5, Buffalo -2.5, the Bengals +1.5. Phil's got the Steelers +3, Houston -7.5, and Detroit -13. You know what I'm going to do? Screw it. I'm going to play it safe. I'm taking Houston. I lied. Screw Buffalo.
Oh, you're going to ride my coattails.
That's fine. I don't really give a hoot. I'm going to take Buffalo. I'm taking Houston minus 7.5. You're right. Dallas does suck. They did lose. They got to bounce back. I'm definitely not.
The Eagles stuck the fork in them. They're done. Dallas is done. The Eagles annihilated them. And by the way, I almost took Philly because.
Yes, me too. I was tempted on the
Thursday night game coming up, and Washington had to play overtime. So I think that's going to come into the factor. So I think the Eagles are going to probably beat the hell out of the Redskins. I'm sorry, what are they called? The Commanders now. The Washington football team. They should have kept that name.
Clayton, Kenny, God almighty, please get my name right for the love of God. It's Colton, Kenny. Holy cow, you're not in Hawaii still. Yeah, people around here. I gotta get some credit around here.
That's right, Tim. All the fans we have this week. Isn't this great?
So as my
real quick, I gotta talk.
As my father said, we're gonna talk about those Devils beating your damn Icelanders in an awful choke job in the last 5 minutes, Phil. How about your Icelanders? You suck. How about those?
Where the hell was
Devils?
that holding call with 3 minutes left in the third period? And this is why I hate NHL referees. They are the worst out of the 4 sports. Don't you laugh because you know damn well it's true. They like to swallow the whistle at the most inopportune time. You talk about terrible refereeing. I forget who got pulled down. I think it was Pollock. Got pulled down, no call, and then who scored before Hughes? Who scored in the third period? Hughes scored the overtime winner.
Of course, Luke.
He went down and scored. Anyway, you know
Jack
who I mean. You
Jack
didn't even watch the game, you fraud.
Jack scored 2 in the third period. In the final.
No,
in the third.
Hughes scored in the first period, and then he scored the overtime winner.
He sure did.
Check it out. Rewind it. Anyway, the referees suck. Okay, because the Islanders had a 3-2 lead. They should have been on the power play. The damn game should have been over. But no, we got to make sure this crappy Devil team stays relevant for some ungodly reason. What a joke. And by the way, Dave Gesser, your team fell to second place. Carolina went to first place. So stick that up your pipe and smoke it.
And by the way, it was Dawson Mercer and Stephen Nason, former Carolina Panther, and New Jersey Devil back in New Jersey. So, again, love sticking up Phil's ass with the Icelanders. Again, make sure you're following us on Facebook, subscribing on YouTube. Follow all the links below. We appreciate everyone. Might have to start doing these shows later on. Might have to start doing these shows later.
We just got to let the fans know because the fans are the most important thing. Yes, what are the picks for Tyson Paul? Indeed, we got to do a little boxing here. I love Tyson this on Friday night. Who do you like?
I could give a rat's ass. The fact that this is even on and getting any attention is an embarrassment.
Come on, make a pick. Make a pick.
I'm going to pick Jake Paul. This would be hilarious. I'm going to pick Jake Paul.
All right. We can rub it in each other next week. Quickly, I got to talk about college football because I'm infuriated how an undefeated Miami Hurricane team went from 6 to 12. That's absolutely atrocious. These teams with 2 losses barely moved down, like Georgia, and Miami goes all the way to 12 barely on the outside looking in. The only solace we have is we played a 5 seed, which is Indiana, which is a fraudulent 10-0 team because they played nobody in the Big Ten. And I didn't say Big Ten. I meant Big Ten, PIG, because that's what the Big Ten is. They ruined college football. I know you're a big Michigan fan, and they've ruined college football with all this expansion nonsense.
Reigning, defending national champions. Let's not forget that.
Yeah, no, they are. And I rooted for them last year. But the Big Ten has ruined college sports in general. It's a joke. Absolute joke.
You can blame the SEC for that.
Just another 12.
You can blame the SEC for starting
as well. But no. The Big Ten started this way back with Penn State. And they should have been called the Big 11. They stayed the Big 10 forever. And then they start taking on all these other teams.
You can blame the SEC for starting it. So I don't know what to tell you.
Nate Brown. Hello, Nate Brown. Welcome. Tyson round 4. I like it.
I hate that.
He has some disparaging things to say. You guys can read them on the chat. This is actually getting funny. But yeah, that's a joke. That's an absolute joke. And a little bit of NBA. I just got to let you know that my Brooklyn Nets are a 5 seed right now. How bad is the NBA? It is atrocious. The Nets are 5-6, and they're a 5 seed. By the way, the Knicks trades did not help them. Cat has been atrocious. Your Lakers can't win a game on the road. They're another fraudulent team. I mean, they are absolutely. What are they? They're a 7 seed. The Nets actually have a higher seed than the Lakers. Who saw that coming? How are your Lakers doing? How's Bronny?
Bronny's back in the G League where he belongs.
Did he score in the G League yet? Did he get a point down there?
Yes, he scored 6 in his first game down there, that bum.
Oh, yeah. I heard he got a single quadruple. 3 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, a block, something like that.
Yeah, you're on it. You got like 3 steals. Yeah, you're on it, man.
Yeah, good for him. He's a bum.
Oh, Shador Sanders, speaking of college ball, going to be a Colt there, Nate Brown. What about AR? I know you got an AR jersey. You going to be wearing that at the end of the season at that Giants game, Nate? That Anthony Richardson jersey, baby.
Bum. Absolute bum.
Oh, crap. Yeah, this is a fun show. We might have to start doing these shows later when everyone's actually.
Yeah, it works for me. If everyone's going to be into it, I'll definitely be into it. One last thing. Nate? This was infuriating. That crappy dome down in Tampa. Did you know the city of Tampa, they had insurance on that miserable looking dome. They dropped the insurance from $100 million to $25 million to save $275,000 in premium payments. It costs almost $60 million to repair that terrible dome. So there's going to be no baseball in Tampa. I love it. The hell with the Devil Rays. And yeah, I still call them the Devil Rays. I don't give a damn. Go to Orlando. You'll sell out every game up there.
Yeah, they are not going to be playing any games there. So, oh my God. I don't know if Kenny's doing this on purpose with all these names. But Kenny's a smartass, and I guess
we should go to Battle River viewing. Stephen Trimble will gladly take care of us over there.
Oh God!
We gotta go live on shows like this. You and I should go back to Maui. Well, I'll go back to Maui.
You paying for my ticket? I'll go to Maui. You paying?
Yeah, it'll be.
We all know who's paying. By the way, Phil, we all know who's paying for that. By the way, and on that note, this is the Personal Foul Podcast. I'm Colton. That's Phil. We'll be back again next week. Might have to do a later show. We had a lot of people watching tonight. So
yes,
we're
cool. Getting a little following. Thank you all. Subscribe. Please subscribe.
Live on Joe Slasso's front yard. Oh, you guys are hilarious.
Screw the Mets.
Again, I'm Colton. That's Phil. We'll be back again next week. This is the Personal Foul Podcast.
That's right.